And I had a lot of people come up to me afterwards that were, finally getting this revelation where they thought that, hey, I need to leave my business. I need to close down my business and go serve on the mission field. And they finally realized, like, my business is my mission field. I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to support the kingdom. I do this really well. And God has blessed me with this gift. And because of that, this is what I can contribute. This is how I can actually finance the kingdom. My name is Nadia, and I'm from Vancouver, Canada. My first kingdom domain was in 2021. So my background is a pretty conservative religious church. And even though I left that when I was around 16 years old, there were still a lot of things that had been in me that I didn't even know I needed to get breakthrough from. And so sitting in kingdom domain, I remember just struggling for the first couple of days. I think it was actually up till Wednesday when I just was looking for every excuse to leave. I was so uncomfortable, and finally something just broke off of me, and I remember just encountering the presence of God in a way that I've never encountered him before. I started to hear him so clearly, and it was like right after Wednesday I was completely sold out, and just hearing the Lord and hearing his voice. And so by the time Friday came, there's just so many things that I was set free from things in my mind, and so the opportunity came to give a gift. And I remember just wanting to give because there was just such a place of love. You give because you love, and encountering the Father's love like that, I wanted to give a gift. And so my husband wasn't at the conference with me, so I ended up sending him a text message asking him if I could give this gift. And at that time, that was the biggest one-time gift that we've ever given. And so he was fine with it. He was on board. And so I remember just giving, and within a couple months of Kingdom Domain, it was like this unlocking happened in my mind where all of a sudden all these additional revenue streams just started to come. This way of bringing in income that I never even thought before. We've had a business for over 15 years at that point, and so that was our main source of income, but it was kind of a startup business. So at some points it was requiring a lot more than it was paying out. So getting an additional revenue stream was definitely a great experience. And so by the time we went to the next Kingdom Domain, which is in 2022, I brought my husband with me, and we were able to plant a seed that was now 10 times more. And so the following year, I was like, things just took off, and additional revenue streams started to come where we never expected them. Now we're like in 2022, living in Canada, when everything is falling apart. People are losing their jobs, people are losing businesses. And I felt like, being a part of God's system, we were not a part of the world system when it came to our finances. And it wasn't about the finances that we got to, have. It was about what we could do with them, because our heart was completely sold out to the kingdom. And so just being able to invest and sow into ministries and sow into good soil, that was so important to us at that time. And so we're able to do things like publish a book in Russian, translate a book. We're able to do things like go on several trips and missionary trips and do conferences and buy land for different ministries, and just seeing the Lord and seeing like what he was doing through finances, where I just felt like this wasn't even me. This was completely the Lord. He was just using the gifts that he gave to me. I felt like he gave me a business mindset, and I was able to use that for the kingdom. So at that time, a lot of our churches were still closed in Canada, and we were just wondering from the Lord, like, where should we sow, and how can we still partner with the kingdom? And so, coming out of Kingdom Domain, I really began to hear the voice of the Lord for myself. And it wasn't just in environments like conferences or in the church service, but it was everywhere. And so this area of finances, I really made sure that I wanted to hear from God. on where to give and who to sow into, and wanting to know that that was good soil. That was very important to me. And so, God would highlight certain people that were either evangelists or pastors or teachers or prophets, and we started to honor them with finances. And something incredible happened where, because we were faithful in that and we were honoring to them and honoring to the Lord, it was like a lot of their gifting all of a sudden got passed on to us. And all of a sudden we're walking in their gifts, and that's just the way the kingdom works. And so getting the opportunity to experience that and getting the opportunity to really partner with the kingdom, I felt like I finally found my place. I found where I belonged. I found a place that the Lord has kind of put me into. And in August, I was able to go to this conference in Kazakhstan. We did a conference for a lot of young people. There was 290 churches represented in this conference. Lots of young youth. It was in Russian. And during one of the breakout sessions, I got to teach and help people understand generosity and just finances and business, and how can business people be serving and ministering in the kingdom. And I had a lot of people come up to me afterwards that were, finally getting this revelation where they thought that, hey, I need to leave my business, I need to close down my business and go serve on the mission field. And they finally realized, like, my business is my mission field. I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to support the kingdom. I meant, I do this really well, and God has blessed me with this gift. And because of that, this is what I can contribute. This is how I can actually finance the kingdom. So getting the opportunity to do that, it was really cool to see people have that revelation. And I think one thing in life that is important is really just to understand, one, hear the voice of the Lord for yourself. Don't account on other people to hear from God. You have to hear from Him yourself, and know the difference between what is seed and what is bread. I see so often that people just eat seeds. They're eating seeds. And the Lord can give you that guidance and that understanding, that wisdom to know the difference, to know that there's something that you need to plant and there's something that you can eat. Because so often, we eat the seeds, but the word of the Lord says that He gives seed to the sower. And so what's in your hand? Is it seed or is it bread? And when you know the difference and you're planting seeds, there's always a harvest. There's always a harvest coming. So after coming to Kingdom Domain for 3 years, I really recognized that this is good soil. It does matter where you plant, and planting into good soil is important. And after a conference like this, I just see so much breakthrough for people. I see so much things coming off, so much freedom, and just a shift in mindsets that's happening. And so, if this is something that it has affected you or has touched your heart, I know the Lord has more for you. I know that He sees you as a son or daughter, and He doesn't want you to lack. If you think about that in the area of finances, the Lord doesn't teach us through poverty. The Lord would, you would never want that for your children. And so just allow the Father's love to lead you and guide you in the area of finances, in the area of just being generous and partnering with Him. And it's exciting to come to places like this. You really get charged up for the year ahead, and just kind of devoting this week to connect with God, to connect with His presence, and hear from Him. It sets the tone for us, to really live this year well, and to not just wait for the next conference, but really to give God that secret time, to spend time with Him in the secret place, and really have that daily encounter with Him. And from there, really just allow Him to take your hand and lead you through life. My name is Nadia, and this is my story for His glory.